This is devastating. Even though Josh Hart is playing well despite his injured finger, this injury is on a completely different level. He is dealing with nerve damage in his right hand. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. This episode is presented by FanDuel. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new content. And now, let's get started. Josh Hart confirms devastating injury. Josh Hart has been dealing with a finger injury since the start of training camp. Initially, he started out poorly, but recently he picked it up and now he looks like the regular Josh Hart that we know and love out there. However, when things reach a certain level, you need to act. We have reached those levels with Josh Hart. Shout out to James L. Edwards and Fred Katz of The Athletic for giving us this following information. According to them, Josh Hart's discomfort extends beyond just his finger. The New York Knicks wing, who has played this season with a splint on his right ring finger, has a nerve injury in his hand. That's what Josh Hart told The Athletic. The affliction affects the fourth finger on his shooting hand the most, but feeling is also going in and out of his middle and pinky fingers, not just on the court, but also in daily life activities. And you think that's bad. You think that's the devastating part. It's not. What's devastating is that Josh Hart has reported sometimes he feels numbness in that hand. Shout out to Knicks videos on the app X for giving us this following information. Here's what Josh Hart had to say about his injury and that nerve damage that he's dealing with. According to Hart, my nerve hasn't fully gotten back to what it was before. There's a little bit of tingling, a little bit of numbness in part of my hand. Hopefully, at some point, that nerve will get back. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Right now, it's a process. This is serious. We are talking about nerve damage in his right hand. If he takes contact awkwardly, he falls to the ground awkwardly, or something happens to that hand, he could end up doing even more damage to it. At this point in time, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it to continue playing in this way? For Josh Hart, he is not going to stop. If you had the question of if Josh Hart is going to get surgery, given all of these new updates, I thankfully have that answer for you, but it's likely not the answer you were hoping to receive. According to Josh Hart, it'll probably be a process until I get full feeling back. The hand will be what it is. I'm working on shooting all the time. That'll come along. I'm not getting surgery. So there you have it. It is confirmed no matter what. At this point in time, Josh Hart, he will not be getting surgery, even though he's dealing with nerve damage in his right hand. And the main reason why is because his doctors already informed him he can play during this season with that injured finger. And then in the next offseason, he can get the corrective surgery to fix all of the issues that he has going on with that hand. And because of that, he is going to wait. Also, if he did get the surgery, it would put him on the shelf for at least 3 months, maybe longer if you include rehab and trying to get back into game shape. And that's the main reason Hart does not want to get this surgery. According to The Athletic, Josh Hart said the operation would keep him out for 3 months. So instead of getting the surgery done immediately, the 30-year-old has opted to play through the injury. Doctors told him he could delay the procedure until after the season without incurring much long-term risk. So far, Hart is still learning how to play through the pain. So he has numbness in that right hand. He is playing through pain. And even though the doctors told him there's not much long-term risk of him playing this way, not much and zero are completely different things. There's not a 0% chance. There's just a very small chance that nothing else is going to happen that's going to make it worse. While that's great to hear, it's not a guarantee. At this point, Josh Hart needs to ask himself that question. Does he want to stay part of this team and still deal with all of these issues, not only on the court, but throughout his daily life? He is living his daily life, still having numbness in that hand, in his finger, not being able to feel that hand at times. But despite all of these issues, he is still going to push forward and play basketball for the Knicks this season without getting surgery. And if you were wondering, how did he end up injuring that finger in the first place? Well, thankfully, Josh Hart revealed that too. According to Hart, he suffered the initial injury in May and then underwent surgery to fix it after the Knicks' 2024-2025 season ended in the Eastern Conference Finals. By the end of the summer, he was back on the court. But not long before the start of training camp, he re-injured it. During a scrimmage at the team's practice facility with Josh Hart on defense, Mikal Bridges drove to the hoop. Hart reached for the ball and felt an ache. It turned out he would require another surgery. Now, some of you might not believe what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I understand and I see it. I see Josh Hart, even with this injury, still playing hard out there. And these last few games, he has been playing like the Josh Hart that we all know and love. I completely understand that. And even with all of this, I still believe he needs to get that surgery. And he needs to get it now. It's 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 months if you have to include rehab and trying to get back into game shape. And I would still rather Hart do that than play through this injury. Right now, yes, he looks good. But what happens when he goes up against a more physical team on defense and they look at that hand and they target that hand and they aim for that hand and they do more damage to that hand? What's going to happen to Josh Hart? How is he going to feel? How is he going to look? This is what I'm thinking about for the future for this season. He is a very important piece off the bench. Maybe it'll take him 4 months to get back. Maybe he'll be ahead of schedule. I would rather him do that and come back in April versus playing the way he is right now. Some days it looks good. Some days it doesn't look good. We do not yet know the consistency of Josh Hart and his play. But either way, numbness, nerve damage, finger injury, finger issues, not being able to play, practice, or shoot in any of the ways you're used to, and you're still pushing through it. You're still playing through pain. At some point in time, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Are you going to do more long-term damage to yourself, the Knicks, and your NBA career? All of that matters too, and you're putting yourself in jeopardy by not getting that surgery. When I hear nerve damage, everything stops. At that point, it's a must. You need to get the surgery. Shout out to channel sponsor FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, for giving us this updated information and these latest odds on who's going to win tonight's game between the Knicks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And as you can see here, the Knicks are the slight favorites in this matchup against the Timberwolves tonight. New York is favored at -174, courtesy of the money line, while the Minnesota Timberwolves are at +148. And they might get back Anthony Edwards for this game. He is questionable. They already have Julius Randle. He is balling out. He's playing very well. Dante DiVincenzo, he's playing very well, although he's going to be wearing a face mask in tonight's game. And Ant Edwards, before he went down, he was looking like a problem and a monster. And if he returns tonight, and of course, he has to return against the Knicks, you can understand it, and I would love to see this test. Right now, without Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves, they're a very difficult team to beat. So it's a test no matter what. You add Ant-Man to that, it's a true test. And I want that for this Knicks team. I want to see what a fully healthy Knicks team can do against a fully healthy Minnesota Timberwolves team. These two teams are absolute playoff teams. And this matchup, it's going to have playoff intensity. Not only are former New York Knicks players, Randle and DiVincenzo, returning back to the Garden, but the Knicks, They are undefeated at MSG this season, and they're going to look to continue that record. Josh Hart, he's likely going to play a significant role. But if it was up to me, if it was my call, Josh Hart would not be playing. He would be getting that surgery right now, working his way back, trying to get fully healthy for this team. A fully healthy Josh Hart is 100% better than a Josh Hart who is playing through pain. But what about you guys? What do you think about Josh Hart revealing that he is playing through nerve damage through his right hand? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.